This video is a quick walk around of my new welding table that I just finished building. It was purchased from weldingtables.com. It's a tab and slot table. So let's check it out. First of all, once I got it done and I started using it as a workbench slash welding table, the holes for the vices, the clamps on the top, were a problem. Screws, nuts, bolts were falling through all the holes as I was using it to assemble various devices. So I welded on a couple of hinges back here and a couple of pieces of sheet steel that I had, and that now creates a flat work surface to work on. Also, what I found to be really nice is when one of the surfaces is folded back, I can clamp things to one side and still have a flat surface without holes on the other side. Pretty neat. I had this old Wilton Vise kicking around. Had it for probably 30-40 years. I sandblasted it, painted it, and mounted it. If it's in the way for a large project, it simply unbolts. Over here on this side, I picked up a work light from Amazon and mounted it. Works out nice, illuminates everything. I added 4 outlets with an extension cord. I can plug it in. Lord knows you can't have enough clamps. And the way this table works is these clamps that actually these clamps were bought at Harbor Freight for $2.99 a piece. And I machined a 5/8 inch piece of round stock and a washer and welded it on. And these clamps simply go into the hole, and then they just simply lower down and clamp work down as needed. And they can be located obviously anywhere. Other types of clamps that can be clamped onto the front of the table or to clamp one piece to another, whatever. The weldingtables.com table uses a full infrastructure of tab and slot cross beams underneath. I measured it using some gauge blocks and some heavy-duty fishing line. And the top is about 5 or 6 thousandths out of flat, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. Once again, at Amazon, I found this really neat office cabinet, file cabinet, I guess you call it. It was black, and it was just a little over $100. And it's fabulous. Keep my gloves, my helmet, welding helmet in here, all types of accessories. And they just bolted it right in. A couple of toolboxes here with a TIG welding paraphernalia. And then I've had these wooden boxes that I built a few years ago. I had them mounted over here on my shelving unit in the garage. And I welded up a rack for them. And the nice thing about them is they simply have individual boxes which will have nuts, bolts, screws, whatever, and I can take them to a job site or outside if I'm working outside. And as you can see, I've got 3/8 inch bolts and 1/2 inch bolts and all kinds of stuff. The other thing they do is they add a lot of weight. That makes the table really rigid and solid. The casters all have locks. Once they lock down, the table is very, very rigid. So that's basically it. That was my project for this week. Weldingtables.com if you're interested. Oh, by the way, I priced this out to just buy the metal, the steel, and build it myself. And it was about 20% cheaper, even including freight from the Midwest, to buy it from them. Plus, I didn't have to drill all these holes. This tabletop and all the pieces are laser cut. So the quality of the holes is really fantastic. There's no slag, there's no anything, even on the edge. I mean, it looks like it was machined. Never mind cut with a some type of a cutting device. As you can see, these are the tabs that come up through the slots. Now, some folks weld these tabs themselves. I just thought that looked bad. I just didn't want to weld on the surface of the table. So I did all my welding underneath. Once the welds were all done, I very carefully, using 150 grit sandpaper, very carefully sanded the top by hand just to get rid of all the weld marks. As you can see, once the whole table is open, it's 2 foot by 4 feet. Gives me an awful lot of working area, and I really like it. I've already done 2 projects on it, and I don't know how I got along without it. They were much easier to fabricate and weld together, and they came out perfectly flat, no warping. So anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching.